Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to Let's Be Frank. Today, what are we talking about, Herman?
We're talking about I'm sick and tired.
We've been here before.
We've been here before, but it seems like it's
time for a
just a revisit. You know?
Okay.
It's just that there's a couple of things that I catch myself going, oh, I'm sick and tired of this, and I'm sick and tired of that.
Yeah.
And I don't mean that in a negative way. I mean, these are negative things, of course. But I mean, what prompted me to talk about this is I'm constantly looking for ways into how do I change this negative feeling of I'm sick and tired of something into something positive.
Yeah, or an action you can take, or
so what can I do about it? So let me give you an example.
Yeah.
I'm sick and tired of the American presidential election. And it hasn't even kicked off
I haven't
properly.
been following it. I have no idea what's going on. I heard Bernie Sanders. That's all I know.
Yeah. So it's not like I'm really following these things, you know, but I do try to stay kind of aware of what's happening in the world around me. I'm sick and tired of Brexit.
It's been going on for how long now?
Yeah.
How many years?
Correct.
Yeah.
How many prime ministers?
Yeah.
You know.
Are we on to number 3 Brexit prime ministers?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm
the Rand tanking.
You know, so there are all of these things. I'm sick and tired of junk status.
Yeah.
I'm sick and tired of economists.
Politicians.
Well, that goes without saying. So I'm sick and tired of... Anyway, I'm sick and tired of the fear-mongering that is potential fear-mongering that's happening around the NHI.
Yeah.
Okay. So I say potential fear-mongering because I think that there are genuine fears.
Yeah.
And I'm not a fan. The little bit that I've seen is, it is just another racket to screw the taxpayers over.
Yep.
It's not about anybody's health.
So how many percentage of South Africans that actually pay their tax?
Yeah, the very few that pay tax.
Yeah.
You know. So I'm sick and tired of that. I'm sick and tired of, just a number of things. And I find that it's starting to affect me. Which is why, okay, cool, I have to take action.
Yeah.
So what can I do about the American presidential election?
Not much.
Not much. Absolutely
Unfollow
nothing.
news sites that mention it.
There we go. So, so that's the one decision that I can make. Is, well, okay, cool. It doesn't really affect me. There's no point in me even getting upset for a second about it. So I've got to decide on how I'm going to deal with that because it's going to come up.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what platform you use to just keep yourself aware of what's going on in the world. So I've got to take action, personal action.
Yeah. And that's the action you're taking is controlling your emotion to it or your reaction to the news that you hear.
Absolutely. That's the first thing.
Okay.
That's the first thing. Is don't get upset about it.
Yeah.
The second thing is don't get caught up in all the hype about what it could potentially do to the world economy. Because the latest is there's talk of a worldwide recession.
How does that even... Anyway.
Yeah. Kind of leads on to why I'm sick and tired of economists.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I can control my reaction to it. Because the reality is it doesn't matter how upset I get about it, I can't change anything about it. So that's number one. There are a number of these things. Brexit, the world economy, the exchange rate. None of these things are remotely in my control.
Yeah.
I've got to accept it and I've got to deal with it. And even better is I've got to look for opportunities in those situations. I think there are a few people that get that right, and throughout history got that right.
Yeah.
You know, that rather than just sit and go, oh, well, things have gone pear-shaped now.
Let's move to somewhere else in the world. But where do you go? You can't go to England. You go.
That's true. Funny enough, that's the one thing that I'm not sick and tired of. Is because I hear on a daily basis of people, you know, immigrating.
Yeah, I've also heard a lot of it recently.
Leaving. And that's one thing that I'm not sick and tired of. As much as I'm comfortable to stay here, I don't get upset when people say I'm moving elsewhere.
It makes me a little bit nervous because it does feel like it's increased. And then you think, should I also be looking at other options?
Yeah, so that's a very personal thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't begrudge people who take the opportunity when it's there for them to go and I don't know, live in another country and work in another country and so on. And I really hope that they're all very happy there.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I've got to, and I haven't really figured all of this out yet in terms of how I'm going to get out of this I'm sick and tired thing.
Well, sometimes it helps to just start talking about it.
Like with so many things, you know, it is, if you get a slightly different perspective. So what's your perspective of, I don't know, the whole, how do you get yourself to not get caught up in something like this and feeling, well, here's another thing, and here's another thing, and here's another thing.
So I'm not sure. I'm also struggling with a few things at the moment, which someone has highlighted to me that I live a lot in the future and I plan a lot, which I feel like there are certain things that need to be planned. So I end up over planning a lot of things. So for example, you know, I'm going overseas. I'm trying to make sure that I have a lift from the airport to the place I'm going from. You know, I need all these things to be in place for me to relax about my trip and get excited about it. And I've been told by someone that I need to learn to live more in the moment, and I've been trying to do that a lot recently. Not recently, probably for a long time I've been trying to do that. But I do find it difficult because you have to plan for certain events. And the talk of people looking at other options to move overseas and things like that, I wonder if I should be looking into those options. And so like, I'm not sure, I don't have it figured out. I'm also like, I'm trying to do this balancing act of planning my life in the future, but also trying to just be present in the moment and enjoy what's happening in my life right now. And we've spoken about this a bit before as well, as like that balance of living in the moment. But living in the moment doesn't mean not planning anything.
Yeah, definitely. I'm a huge fan of planning.
Yeah.
But there's that thing of, well, you know, if it doesn't pan out the way that you planned, is not to get too upset about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that's important.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of what I'm essentially grappling with at the moment.
Yeah. You have these expectations, even in terms of something like the US elections, what you think could happen or might happen. And often it also doesn't go the way that the economists and everyone is saying it's going to go. And
yeah, so like, it's not like I really have any expectations and so on. You know, I couldn't really care less who runs the country. I think the thing that frustrates me more about it is the process and how, in my view, it is touted as the world's best democracy, and there's nothing democratic about it at all. It's bullshit.
Yeah.
I mean the amount of lies and the money that is spent on this farce.
Yeah, manipulation.
Yeah, you know, it's things like that really, really annoy me.
I also asked you this the other day because there was that talk with Carol, what's her name? I can never say her surname because it's Welsh. Carol Caldwell or something.
Correct, yes.
But where she says that we can never have another free and fair election because of the data and the manipulation and all of that. And I asked you, but have we ever had a free and fair election? Because isn't that what isn't that what campaigns are about? It's about manipulating people to vote for your...
I think it's just so much easier to manipulate people.
Yeah.
We've got way better technology. Because I think in the past, where you kind of relied on newspapers and television and radio as kind of the mouthpiece of either the candidates or the political parties, you had no control over...
the targeted messaging.
Yeah. Whereas now we have this very, very specific targeted messaging that can really screw with it.
Yeah, where you and I are not seeing the same thing necessarily, or other people.
Correct.
I get that, yeah. So I suppose it was harder to be underhanded because everyone could hear the message you were giving out, where now not everyone hears the same message. So
I don't think it was harder to be underhanded. I think it just wasn't that effective.
Because you could be challenged on what you say.
Correct. Well, they've always been underhanded. I think all politicians.
But I suppose when it's communication to the masses, it can be challenged to the masses. So you're getting both sides of the coin. When now you don't really know what one person is hearing, so you can't give a counter argument. I suppose.
Correct, because what you see and what I see not the same.
Not the same, yeah.
And it's presented on a platform where it doesn't necessarily encourage discussion or public debate or whatever. So, and I think that holds true for a lot that we see about the economy as well, and so many other things. But I'm thinking that, this goes down to, I don't know, things that are more personal as well, in terms of, just take stock a little bit.
Yeah.
And don't let things, because these things all have an effect on you.
Yeah.
I think we use the silly example that we often use, is the world economy is screwed, so what's the point of me even exercising, for example? Shouldn't I just eat all the pizza and ice cream I can now, while it's still available? Because if you look at some of these...
While I can still afford
it. So kind of things on that level, don't allow it to kind of affect you on the things that you really have control over and the things that you can. So I think in a work context as well, we've had projects where we feel, wow, we've put everything into this project, and things that happen out of our control. And it's frustrating.
Yeah. So what can we do?
Well, I don't know. I think, something that I read last night, an email that was sent to me, just really struck me again, the whole idea of innovation. Are we innovating? Are we really innovating? Are we doing enough of that? Are we putting enough energy into that? Or are we just following the masses? So that's one thing for me that stands out and says, okay, cool, maybe we should have a broader discussion about that. Is how could we have been, or in a particular product, how could we have challenged this? How could we have been more innovative, more creative, without kind of telling the customer or the partner that we're working with is, no, you're going in completely the wrong direction. It's not about that. But I think internally we have so much creativity. We see it internally. I don't know if it always translates because we feel like it's not our place.
Yeah.
Or there's not budget for it.
Yeah.
Whatever the case may be. And then we kind of just toe the line.
Stay in our box.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's one thing that I
we've been talking about this for a while as well, about kind of being more innovative in projects and speaking up and coming up with ideas and putting them forward. And
and sometimes when we put an idea forward and the answer is no, is not to give up so easily. Because there are also examples where over time what we suggested was eventually implemented.
Yeah, so it could have been implemented 6 months or a year earlier.
Way earlier. And maybe it would have made a difference.
Yeah.
We believe it would have made a difference.
Yeah.
So why didn't we push a little bit harder?
Yeah.
Why didn't we? So I'm thinking that, just look at all of these things that it can potentially affect you negatively.
Yeah.
And maybe that's one of the things that I feel about everybody just looking for, well, where can I get an ancestral visa, or which country is looking for my skill set, as much as I...
Which country has less problems than ours?
Yeah. So having done that, having done the move, having lived in another... I know how difficult it is.
That the grass is not always greener.
No, it's not, and it's difficult.
Yeah.
There are a lot of things. So why am I encouraging people, including my own children, to go and do it? Is as well, go and experience it for yourself.
Yeah.
So that at least you can make that informed decision. And maybe it is easier for some people. But when you do that, you're also going to have to rely on your own creativity and your own ability to improvise
and to adapt,
and to innovate. I would like to see just more of that happening where we are here, whether it's in the office or just in our personal lives, instead of just going, oh well, the government screwed that one up. To just look at, well, what are the opportunities? Whether I can actually execute that opportunity or not, that's another thing. But if I believe in the opportunity, and keep talking to people about that, I will eventually get to the right people who can execute on that opportunity. And that's kind of where I want to focus my energy, rather than being kind of dragged down and having this sick and tired feeling.
I was just thinking, you asked us a clarity survey ages ago about, you asked everyone if they could do anything, what would their dream job be, or what would it be that they would want, if they could build their own business, if they could run their own business, what would it be? I think it might be quite interesting to do something like that again, or revisit that, because that also gets people thinking about what they would do if they could do anything, if there were no constraints, no limitations, just get people dreaming again. Because I also feel like I end up in the rat race. You know that video with all the rats where you wake up, you go to work, you do the same thing, you go home, you go to sleep, you wake up, you go to work, you do the same thing.
And you chase chase the wrong things. First I think it's a big screen TV and you think you'll be happy with that. And then it's a car. And then eventually.
But it's a nice challenge. And I think everyone's sick and tired of a few things. Probably some of us have the same things that we're sick and tired of. Maybe not me, the US election, but Brexit. I'm annoyed. It's just stop talking about it and do something now. Whichever thing you're going to do it. Because it just feels like everyone's in limbo about what next. What's the next step? But what can we do right now for ourselves and for the people around us that will make our lives a little bit happier? Cool.
Let's innovate.
Cool. Let's innovate, guys. Thank you.
Thanks.